Okay, boys, today we're conquering the mind, the body, and spirit. Well, we're talking about conquering it. And it just got me thinking. Um, th- there was a book I read a long time ago. It's like conquering the battlefield of the mind. And it just kind of made me realize that um, the mind is a battlefield. The mind, the body, and the spirit, they're there's battles fought in those three areas. And those three areas are areas that a man must be able to conquer in order to be able to succeed, in order to be like strong in a certain area. Because those three areas are things internally that you must have locked down. They're basically like the foundations, right? The mind and the body, they say it's a temple. It's a temple that houses the Holy Spirit, right? And so I got some tea right here, man. I love fucking tea. Honestly, this is a little side tangent, but like tea, drinking tea when you're hungry, oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyway, besides the point, the mind and the body how is the temple that houses the Holy Spirit. So by keeping the mind, by winning the battle over the mind, you like this is a brief overview of the freaking whiteboard that we're gonna go to. But like you become more aware of the deceptions, of distractions, and I think like the biggest takeaway is that with the battlefield of the mind, it's not something that is overt, right? We're not like going clashing on head on. No, it's actually fought with deception. It's like I think about it like it's a Cold War type shit. All right, and so it's through deceptions, through distractions, it's through rationalizations, it's through things that we don't see on the surface, but deep down there's big battles, tiny little battles going on every single day. Like they don't hit you with a big hack slash gut sword. Nah, it's little like syringes. It's death by a thousand cuts. That's the battlefield of the mind. And so the to be aware of those deceptions, of those little things that will cause you to go weak is important. Okay, but then the battlefield of the body, building the physique, and that's different. And then this developing the spirit so that you are able to give out better to the world. It's like it's all a different area, and it's those areas are foundational. And I believe like what I need to do too. It's like this is why I'm telling you guys is like to to grow, we gotta be able to conquer these battles in these different areas of not life of yourself. Okay. Okay. So let's get into it. I was watching a lot of neuro knowledge. Well, not a lot. I just watched one video of neuro knowledge last night, and it was pretty good, pretty eye opening. So if you catch me saying some stuff that he would say, I apologize. Well, I don't apologize because it's actually facts. Go to shit. You feel me? Let me make sure it's yeah. That's good enough. You feel me? Anyway, conquering the mind, the body, and the spirit. Okay, control of the mind, the body, and the spirit is foundational as a man, as we are becoming more soldiers of God. Like, we'll start with this. If the benefits, like this, I just wrote down three things. Okay, benefits is like mental toughness. You start actually in the mind. If you're mentally tough, you won't be able to give in to temptation, give in to procrastination, to things that will technically break somebody, right? And I like to think about it like it's it starts in the mind. Okay, wait, this is kind of in the future, but it starts in the mind. Like if you are not mentally tough, you will not be able to go through the challenges that God puts you through, right? And so developing that mental toughness will make you more stronger to go to face the challenges God puts in front of you, you know. And so we got to develop that shit, and that's important. The masculine soul, right? As we want to increase our masculinity, we want to be pursuing God. Developing the masculine soul is control over the mind, body, and the spirit helps develop the masculine soul, because the soul, the spirit, it is housed by your mind and body. Okay, so it's a sacred place, and that sacred place needs to be good, right? And not necessarily good, but it needs to be clean of it. Okay, because once your mind and body you have conquered those areas, like you have actually, you know, it's not, you're not losing to the enemy in those areas, right? You actually have control over it. You'll be able to give out your masculine soul through the world and like attract the things that you actually wanted to attract. Okay, and the internal strength. Like as I go through these videos and shit like that, or just this progress in general, I start to realize the importance of not the external things, it's the internal strengths. And the mind, the body, and the spirit, these are internal things. You basically, it's not things of the outside world. It's not things outside of your control. So these are things that will make you stronger, internally stronger. And by that, the other things are byproducts. You know, the money, looks, status, whatever, all those results that people would want, the external strengths, you know, that makes you good, it all comes from you. Like everything outside of you is an extension of yourself. The work that you do is an extension of yourself. So if you're not internally strong, the things that you put out, it's not going to be powerful. You know, it's not going to be good enough. You know, it's just going to be a reflection of you yourself. So if you are a reflection of the work that you put out, you don't want to be putting out shit. So don't be like shit. You know what I mean? You want to be strong. You don't want to dish out weak ass, half-ass shit. Okay. So losing control over these three areas will result in passivity and complacency. This is probably the worst thing as a man, in my opinion, is like passivity and complacency. Because when you're passive, like my personal things, like when I'm not doing the work, right? By that definition, you cannot be pursuing your God-given purpose. Because in order to pursue your God-given purpose, you must be taking action. You must be doing things. Progress is only made with action. And like something I realized just yesterday, and it kind of epiphany, remember I watched Neuronknowledge, is that you can take action, but both mental and physical action, right? So like you gotta, I believe like it starts with the mind, having that mental action, like that commitment to the goal, or the awareness of the things that will steer you off path. When you have that mental action of like doing that, it will make it so that the physical action, like you committing to the goal, it will make it so that the physical action is much easier to do. So for example is the, okay, we'll talk about it here, but I'll just say it right now because it's top of mind. Commitment to the gym. You're committing to the grind of working out. So in my example, I'll share with you my experiences. When I was in high school, I set the mental commitment to become the best high school wrestler on Ireland, right? And that was in the summer before the school year even started, before the wrestling season even started. I wanted to do that because I was probably going to be the wrestling captain. And so I needed to be like the role model and shit. And so I took mental action and said that I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best high school wrestler in Ireland. I am going, you know what I mean? And that's where it started. It started with the mental action, with the commitment to the goal, and then everything else. That's actually when I started hitting the gym. That's actually when I started working out and shit. It started in the summer when I took that mental action of like, I'm committing to this goal. And that's that day when I said that, I started hitting the gym and I didn't stop. And I didn't have I won't say urge to stop, but it's like I just felt like I just gotta keep going because I committed to the goal. And that commitment is a mental action that you gotta be taking. And so it's a little side tangent. We're still on the consequences of losing control of these three areas, but it just goes to show that you got to be taking action, and it's not just mental action. It's not just the physical action. It's a mental action, like committing to the goal, becoming aware of the deceptions and shit like that. Okay, so don't fall into passivity, complacency. As a man, we are taking active action, active masculinity, and that kind of shit. Internal weakness, like what we said, internal strength, you become susceptible to a lot of the things. A lot of things. If your mind is weak, you won't be able to, again, to face the challenges in front of you. If your body is weak, well, you won't be able to carry your mom's groceries. No, but like, you know what I mean? Like one thing with the body too is like the internal confidence. Like there's so many people that I know, and even in my personal experiences, like when you start working out and building the body, you become more confident. And it's really because you put in that work, you put in that effort, and you start fulfilling your God-given genetical potential, right? And so you don't want to be, if you ever feel weak, you just got to be putting in the work, putting in the work, but in the mind, the body, and the spirit, okay? So, and then the negative energy, and that negative energy, like, I know it's kind of like woo-woo, whatever, but like, you carry around this loser mentality is kind of what I wanted to say about this. It's like, the way you see the world, right, when you are losing in the mind, the body, and the spirit is warped, right? The perception that you see it, you would not carry it with the right energy, right? But then, once you start being able to conquer the mind, the body, and the spirit, the energy you carry around, whether that be subconsciously, consciously, whatever it may be, it will be, your perception will be more accurate to the reality, okay? Fuck, I sound like neuro knowledge there. But basically what I'm trying to say is that if you're losing in the mind, you're gonna feel like depressed as fuck, right? if you look in the mirror and your body's fucking, and you don't like how you look in the mirror, you're gonna feel depressed as fuck, right? I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like, you carry around this negative energy when you are not winning the battles that you gotta win, right? And when you're losing to the devil, to the demons inside. You feel me? And so we gotta be winning. And so in the next part of this whiteboard, we're gonna talk about conquering each area. And I wanna preface this is that these are, as of this moment in time, this is what I believe. But as time goes on, we can learn and grow even more, especially like in my own expertise in areas in learning. I really want to be able to conquer them, win the battle of the mind. And look, it's not just one and done battles, okay? It's not just like, did I win, did I lose? I'm telling you, this is a battlefield, right? There's like in World War II, there wasn't just one battle that made it so that they won everything. Nah, these wars that are fought, it's battles they're fought every single day. You guys gotta realize that. And it's just not, the timeline is not like just 1 year. No, it's through your whole entire lifespan, okay? These battles are fought through your whole entire lifespan. And this is why I kind of believe that you don't even face retirement, right? As a man, you don't retire because these battles are fought every single day until the day that you die. In Ecclesiastes, I'm just like pulling this out of my ass. But in Ecclesiastes, like what they say is that the rich and the poor, the wealthy and, well, that's the same ass thing. But like rich and the poor, the every single person on this planet, the ones that lazy and the hardworking, they all share the same fate, and that's death, right? That's actually experiencing death. And the way I conceptualize this is like I interpret it is like you got to keep working until the day that you die. I mean, because the death is the end point for everybody, okay? And so, anyway, that was besides the point. Let's get into it. To conquer the mind, I believe this battlefield is fought in subvertive and covert ways. That basically means it's like ninja tactics type shit. It's death by 1,000 cuts. They don't hit you with a big ass hack slash sword like Gut Zone. They hit you with the daggers or with the little syringes or the little, you know what I mean? And you don't even see it coming. You feel me? And so some of the things that is covert is like deception of the mind. They try to deceive you to make you believe that this is the way the world works. Like deception, illusions, mental traps. They're basically traps, right? False realities, right? It tries to warp the perception that you have of the world. You do not want that to happen, okay? Becoming aware of the deception is important. So we'll go with that down here. But again, deception, rationalization, distractions. These are like the three biggest things that I could think of that the enemy, that the devil, that the demons, of the world would try to use to win the battle in your mind. The thing I like to think about is that the saying that I like is that the mind is the devil's playground, right? Because the spiritual warfare happens in the mind, okay? He doesn't do it through like head-on clashes. It's all in the mind, okay? And so in order to win, in order to win against the enemy that uses these tactics, you're going to, okay, I put number one is commitment to your God-given purpose, okay? Commitment to your God-given purpose. What does commitment mean? Commitment means eliminating alternatives. You got to understand, when you eliminate alternatives, that means that you won't be able to rationalize, okay? You won't be able to get distracted. Like if I say I'm going to go straight, I'm going to go straight right the fuck now, that means like if you're 100% committed to the goal of going fucking straight, right? That means you cannot be getting distracted going this way. You know what I mean? Or going this way, okay? Same thing with rationalization. I'm gonna go straight. If you're 100% committed, you are not going to rationalize and say, you know what? Maybe I should go left first because there's some cool ice cream or shiny object there, and then I can go right. No, like commit to the goal that God has said. Like God said to go straight, go fucking straight. You know what I mean? And so I truly believe like just this sentence in and of itself, like actually internalizing what commitment means, commitment to your God-given purpose, like everything else like just flows off of it, okay? So you gotta be 100% committed, like 100% committed to your God-given purpose. I say it with like a lot of my videos, but like just trying to internalize what does that mean? What does commitment to the your God-given purpose means? And again, it's not just that are you committed or are you not? It's just how committed are you? How many alternatives have you eliminated? Is basically what I'm trying to say, right? If you're 100% committed, that would basically means there is no alternatives. There is zero alternatives to the path that you are walking down. And that's what we want to be pushing towards, right? Because if we're like kind of committed, 50% committed, there's one path, but there's also 2, 3, 4 other paths that you could walk down on. That's not what we want to be doing, because that's how we stray off the path of God, okay? So commitment to the goal, okay? Commitment to your God-given purpose. This will definitely help with overcoming the deception, rationalization, and distractions that the enemy will put on you. And the second thing is the increased level of presence, of consciousness, of awareness, okay? Like, as I say with every video, it's like when you are more present, you are able to tap into your God-given intellect. Like God resides in the present moment. And so when you are actually conscious, like I was watching Neural Knowledge. So presence, consciousness, awareness, frequency, they're all the same thing. You feel me? And so when you are conscious, right? You are conscious when you are aware of the deceptions that the devil will play on you. You start to realize that, okay, I'm aware that this guy is trying to deceive me. I'm aware that this path leads down the wrong path. I'm aware that I'm just rationalizing at this point. I'm aware that this is a distraction. Okay? The more aware you become, the more present you become, you will become you will notice, you will see the truth of reality, right? Because all of this is all of these things, the subverted tactics that the enemy will play on you is false realities. It's illusions. It's traps. It tries to steer you off your path. That's all it is. All things to show you. He shows you things to steer you off your path. But when you have these blinders on, like you have these blinders on, and you see the truth is this path that you're walking. That is the way. You feel me? And so the way you put on those blinders to the deception, like you start actually seeing through it, you start seeing through the deception, is by becoming more aware, is by becoming more present. Okay? And so this is the way you win the battlefield of the mind. It's like you gotta commit to your God-given purpose, and you gotta increase your level of awareness so that the enemy's tactics, you become aware of the enemy's tactics. Okay? And so that's something I personally want to develop and grow, is the level of consciousness as a man. Okay? Next part is to conquer the body. Okay? So this battlefield is fought head on. Well, honestly, and like I started thinking about it, this battlefield is fought head on with the hack slash sword and shit like that. Okay? So you're going to have to develop your willpower, your discipline, your consistency, right? You're in a gym and you want to be freaking hacking away at, building the freaking physique and shit. It's a progressive over time, right? You want to be consistent over time. And you guys gotta understand, once you take the mental action, like once you start becoming more aware and start being committed to your God-given purpose, your goals and shit, conquering the body becomes much easier. Okay? So in order to win, you develop the internal skills and habits, right? That means in order to develop skills and the habits, habits is just repetitive action. You got to be putting in the reps, right? And this can be metaphorically putting in the reps, but it's also like literally putting the reps in the fucking gym. You feel me? 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 15. You feel me? That kind of shit. Be putting the reps every single day, but also metaphorically, like you put in the reps in life, right? Whatever skill you want to developing the skill of discipline, it's just doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it, repetitively. Okay? Willpower. Don't not doing the things you want to do even when you want to do it. You know what I mean? That's willpower. That's like basically fighting the urge is basically what willpower is. Consistency is just doing it consistently. Or you can't use the word in the definition. Consistency is repetitive action over time. Basically habits. Okay? And so you got to develop those things. Do the work despite your emotions. That's basic. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Your emotions are things that would try to steer you off your path. I think it's another covert, subvertive tactic that is used on your mind, right? And so when you're tired, when you're anxious, y'all hear it before, and I'll say it again. Don't give in to that shit, okay? You got to take action in the present moment. And so by giving into complacency, by letting your emotions dictate your actions, it will lead you to complacency, and you don't want that. Okay? You want to be the one making the decisions over your life. Don't make your emotions make the decisions. Don't make other people make the decisions. No, you are the one making the decisions. You hold the power. So don't I like to think about all of those outside influences and stuff like that. It's just information. Emotions are just information. And yeah, emotions is basically energy in motion, right? But I won't talk about that today. Progressive overload over time. right? That's basically what I was saying is putting in the reps, doing, making it harder than last time, and just doing that. Honestly, like the battlefield of the body, like growing your body in the fucking gym, it's not as difficult. Well, it's not as complicated. What I meant to say, it's not as complicated as you may think, right? It's simple, but it's harder. Okay, it's simple, but it's hard. Okay, you just got to be able to like like put in the work. Okay, and that's really it with the body. It's like it's a simple thing, but for many people it's hard. And the way I was able to make it less hard is by actually focusing on the mental action first, right? Of actually getting the mind on point, and then the body will follow. Okay, but you got to get both. Okay, and the last part is to conquer the spirit. This battlefield is fought with faith. Okay, let me stand on this side. This battlefield is fought with faith, right? The spirit is the thing that is housed in the temple, your mind and your body. And so your trust and obedience to God determines the strength of your spirit. Okay? And so what I put here is, how much do you trust God? How much do you trust in God? And um, again, it's like what I was saying earlier. It's like, it's not do you trust God or not. It's how much do you trust Him. Because if you trust in God half-heartedly, it will lead to a half-hearted spirit. And you don't want that. You want to be giving 100%. My senior quote in high school was, whatever you do, do it 100%. Okay? And so the masculine spirit, the Holy Spirit, the thing that you want to, the thing that helps you give out to the world with positive and good energy and that spirit of divine creation, you got to trust in God, because your spirit is developed through God, right? And so you give 100% to God, right? It's fought, the battlefield of the battlefield of, I'm tongue twisting right now. The battlefield of the spirit is fought in the mind. Oh, it's fought with faith, dude. I'm actually brain farting right now. Okay, so what I have here: relationships, wealth, happiness. These are basically the three other pillars: health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. Those are the desires that as humans we have. I believe that if we give 100% to God, our relationships, our wealth, the happiness, the results that we want in these three areas, or in these three places, and we give it all to God, we trust that God will give us the relationships that He finds that we need. You know, we trust that God will give us the wealth that He wants of us, right? We trust that we put our happiness in God. We put our relationships. We leave our relationships to God. We leave our wealth to God. And once you how do I say this? Give it all to God, right? And that's what they say. He will give it back to you. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. You feel me? This is something that okay, I'm gonna be completely above. This is something that I need to not just learn more, but have more trust in God in these areas. Because in me personally, I feel like I gotta do things myself, when in actuality, you gotta be just increasing the level of consciousness so that you become more aware of God's presence. And when you are more aware of God's presence, you'll be able to give out, operate on the frequency, on a good frequency with everybody around you. You know, basically give out good vibes. I don't want to say good vibes to the one. It kind of sounds like this is a little side tangent, but it kind of sounds like one of those fucking, wishy-washy. Oh, good vibes. You feel me? Nah, that's not what we want. But it's just operating on a higher level of consciousness, higher level of awareness, so that God is with us at all times. Because honestly, what I really like coming back to the mind, because it's something that in my personal experience is very, very damn important. Okay, I feel like the mind, the mind is directly connected to the body and the spirit. Like, it, like if we don't trust God, we start thinking, we start rationalizing, we start to believe that things are things are good and things are bad, and that's why we should do these things. I like to turn back. Like when I say trust in God, here's a story that I really like thinking about. Trust in God. I think back to the story of Adam and Eve, right? Adam and Eve were given a command from God to tend to the garden and all of that stuff, and to not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? They were commanded, right? And what I put here, you gotta obey. What the freak? You gotta trust and obey God in order to strengthen your spirit. When Eve did not trust God and did not obey God, and she ate from the tree, and she ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and told Adam to do that. And therefore, when they did that, they gained knowledge of good and evil, and they start rationalizing. They start, okay, you know what? I shouldn't wear this. I should start putting on clothes because it's bad. You guys gotta realize, good and bad. Like if we revert to before Adam and Eve ate from the tree of good knowledge of good and evil, before they did that, how were they living? Well, there would be no such thing as good and evil, right? It would just be, it just is, right? Things just are. This, like, when we talk about like violence and shit, we have this negative connotation of violence, when violence just is. When we think of a knife, some people have a perception that a knife is bad because they have bad experiences with it, right? But it just is. A knife can be used to probably kill somebody, or a knife can be used to chop some carrots. You know what I mean? Things just are. And when you start living your life like how Adam and Eve would have been living before they ate from the tree of knowledge, they would have been living with the trust and obedience to God. Okay, so it's like I know it's kind of like I'm going off the whiteboard shit, but like things just are, right? So if you don't have the relationship that you want, it just is. Just give it away to God. You feel me? It's not bad that you're not in a relationship, but it's also not good. It just is. You feel me? When you don't have the wealth that you want, it just is. Okay? And so it's that just is mentality, that just becoming aware that good and evil is just the good, the bad, the positive, the negative. It's just a little labeling that we do as human beings because Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Our ego starts to just label these things this way, so we can categorize things in certain areas, right? And so we can choose better. But in actuality, you don't. It's kind of counterintuitive, because when things are good and evil, we start to rationalize and be deceived by certain things, and therefore causes indecisiveness, causes things not to actually take action in accordance to what God wants us to do. When you start living in a way that you disregard good and evil, you disregard the negative connotation, and you don't label these things this way or that way, and you actually just see it not as the deception, but as this is just reality. This is reality, right? This is just the truth in which I see. Okay, that's it for this video. Okay, so we're really going to we're really going to learn more. Not just learn more, but actually apply these concepts into our own lives, right? And especially like I'm kind of like I feel kind of what's this called? Hyped up for the mind and the spirit, because like for me personally, I feel like my body is pretty pretty damn good, but like the mind and the spirit is like actually increasing the level of awareness by actually being able to cultivate the masculine spirit within. I think that's the next level that I personally want to achieve. And so that's it for this video. If you guys have got any questions, and then it's another fucking long ass video, 35 minutes. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave it down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys later. Deuces.